All right, I slept way too late, getting a late start, but Mike's outside. I'm hoping he's packing up the camper so we can get ready to go. So let's go check on him. Babe?
What?
What are you doing?
Chilling?
Don't we have to pack up the camper? Hit the road?
No.
Why not?
We're home, kid.
What?
We can do whatever we want.
What?
So I'm doing nothing.
We're home! How many days did we spend on the road?
I don't know. How many days did we spend on the road?
I threw that to him because I completely forget. 10 days on the road.
3,200 miles
32, really?
and 10 states.
Didn't know it was up. Okay, okay.
And it's kind of hot out here.
It's really hot out here.
You're gonna go inside and
Let's
do
go
this?
inside. We're gonna show you guys where all we went, talk about what we should have done differently, what went right, what went wrong, and how much it cost.
So if you guys are new here, I'm Mike.
I'm Stephanie.
We're life rerouted. Steph's a travel nurse, and we travel the country in our RV, and we've been doing it about 5 years now.
Over 5 years.
Steph took a travel nurse assignment actually back home in our home state of Indiana, so we're gonna be here at least 3 months. We just traveled from Vacaville, California, all the way across the country to Indiana to start her assignment.
We did it in like 10 or 11 days. I think 10.
Still undecided how many days.
Still not sure. A week and a half we were on the road. But to get you how we got from Vacaville to Indiana, we're gonna have to go backwards and start at the beginning. My last assignment was in Vacaville, California. We actually really enjoyed our time there. We spent about 3 months there, but it was time to leave, so we decided to come back to Indiana. So we left Vacaville, California, and we intended to go up to Oregon, spend some time, enjoy it. We kind of had a different thing happen. Our hitch broke. So we ended up staying in Medford, Oregon for 2 nights. The area is gorgeous. We didn't give it credit because we were a little bit stressed out. After leaving Medford though, we decided we kind of needed to make up some lost time. So we went from Medford, Oregon to the middle of nowhere, Nevada. We stayed at a dirt parking lot in Wells, Nevada. Interesting stay, but it worked out for us. Glad we did it. After we left Wells, we needed to go to Salt Lake area for some compliance stuff for my job because I was still working-ish on the road. So we went to a Harvest Host in Syracuse, Utah, the Syracuse City Museum. I'm loving the pointer that I have here. You guys let me know down below, like, should we do this every time? I'm loving the hands-free thing I have. So after going to Syracuse, Utah, we went to one of our favorite stops on the trip, and I'm so glad that we went here. We didn't even know it existed. Firehole Canyon Campground in Rock Springs, Wyoming. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But only stayed there 1 night, and then from there we went to another Harvest Host, Pine Bluffs Distillery. If you're ever in Pine Bluffs, Wyoming, it is worth the stop. It was awesome distillery and great people there too. Then from Pine Bluffs, we continued to head east, but we went a little out of our way and we went north. I'm gonna switch sides on the map here. Totally easy to do. And we decided to go to Beaver Lake Campground just outside of Custer, South Dakota. I don't know if you can see on the map here. Is it, where was it again? Right there, Custer, South Dakota. We stayed there 2 nights. It rained most of the time we were there, but it was honestly a nice campground and a great way to see Custer, Mount Rushmore, all the things there. Then we left, and on the way to our next stop, we had to stop at this place that we've been told to stop at for years, Wall, South Dakota. We stopped at Wall Drug, and it was interesting to say the least. Then we went to another Harvest Host because we love them so much. We went to a winery, Round Lake Winery. Definitely worth a stop if you ever go there. Where was it at on the map again? Right there. there it was. And then we decided to drive. We only had a short period of time to get home. We knew that it wasn't going to be that far, so we drove as far as we could, and we found an amazing Bass Pro parking lot in East Peoria, Illinois. That was a great stop. They were right on the river. We were able to walk to restaurants and stuff. Great. And then we woke up the next day, only had a couple hours to drive to get home. Thank you, Vanna. Altogether, it was about 3,000 miles, about 3,200 miles, 10 or 11 days on the road. We're gonna break down the costs, break down things that we learned and things that we shouldn't have done, and just share it with you guys. I might need somebody else to help me talk about this stuff though.
Oh, here I am.
Where were you the whole time?
I was sending some emails.
Outside doing nothing? Let's give it up for our pointer, Mike. Yay!
Maybe I should be a hand model, guys. What do you think? Alright, so overall, we had a really great time. We do things a little bit differently. We had some stuff that went wrong. We had some stuff that went right. Yeah. But overall, we had a good trip. So, What was your favorite moment on the trip?
I thought I was gonna have to think about it, but one comes to mind right away. We stayed at Firehole Canyon Campground in Wyoming, and Mike literally found it like a couple hours before we got there, and he's like, what about
spot.
This one? And we didn't have any cell service. We were completely disconnected from everything, and work was overshadowing this whole trip for us, but nobody could get a hold of me. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. We met the most awesome camp hosts, gorgeous like bluffs and views.
It was great.
It stormed like crazy when we got here, and when we got there, and then it was like perfect. It was perfect. I guess just needing that peaceful moment and the stress of traveling, that was what it was for me.
It's also where I crashed my drone for the first time.
That's true.
I was gonna say that, but I guess I had a really good time when we were in Oregon, even though there again it was overshadowed by the stuff that went wrong with the sway bars and all that. But Oregon was beautiful. We saw a really pretty waterfall and a really nice area. I'd love to go back to Oregon and actually spend some time there though.
What was your least favorite?
I guess when we first started off and had the trouble with the towing setup.
If you missed that video, someone forgot to latch the Snap L pin. I will never forget the name of that because we spent like 2 days trying to find one.
We're still not sure that it was you that did it.
I am sure it was me. He's trying to be nice, but
think it was. The least favorite evening when we were in Syracuse.
Utah.
And no AC, and it was like 90 degrees in the camper.
We love boondocking and we love Harvest Host, but we had to...
We love it so much.
We had to reroute our trip. We had to stay last minute outside of Salt Lake, so we found a museum, and there was a Harvest Host. It was great. But we didn't really plan accordingly for the weather. It was like 90 degrees even through the night. Mike laid on the couch, sprawled out, dying in a parking lot. We don't have a generator to run our AC. That's our own fault, but it's probably my least favorite sleeping event in the camper ever.
And it rained.
And it rained,
so we had to
couldn't leave the windows open.
Anyway, not complaining.
Not complaining,
but those are some of our least favorite moments for sure.
Pick your high and low of every trip, because hopefully the high will outweigh the low.
Alright, so what would you do differently? If we did this whole trip again, what would you do differently?
I'd snap the L pin.
We'd snap the L pin. I would have taken our time a little bit more, because I feel like the whole trip was kind of rushed, and we weren't able to relax in the places that we would have rather relaxed.
I think that's fair. One thing that we have learned, not just RV travel, any travel in general, stay more than one night at a place. Because if you're just staying one night at a place, you don't really get to see that place, because if you're staying in a hotel, you check in, you get into your hotel, you have maybe a couple hours, then you have to check out in the morning. And same thing with RV parks. That was a very aggressive sneeze. So I mentioned before that we had done a video about our 3-week road trip from Florida to Arizona. One thing that I did during that road trip that I plan to continue to do is to keep track of the cost. This trip I kept track of the cost as well, And our most expensive cost, not unexpected this time around, was fuel. We filled up, I don't know how many times, but we drove 3,200 miles, we decided. $839.22 in diesel fuel.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
For those of you that are curious as well, we were getting what, somewhere between 9 and 11 miles per gallon
Usually.
with the truck. So it did a really good job, but it still was expensive to refuel.
Yeah.
So
that was it was definitely our biggest expense. Now we had a few hiccups along the road. So the last road trip, I may or may not have popped a tire, so that was an unexpected cost. This road trip, my unexpected cost was I forgot to latch the snap L pin on the sway bars. Thankfully, they're fairly cheap to replace. We may have bought 3 replacements, even though we only need 2.
yeah, I think I bought 3 new ones.
Which is okay, now we have 4.
Yeah.
But that didn't cost very much altogether, $22.30.
If you guys have a weight distribution hitch system, do yourselves a favor right now. Just go ahead and buy extra parts.
One category that's usually the most expensive, if not the second most expensive thing, is just stays. Paying to stay at a campground. I'm fairly impressed with us this time because we stayed pretty darn cheap.
Parking lot parties.
This trip was a parking lot party. We stayed in I don't know how many parking lots, and some of them were absolutely amazing parking lots. Some of them were just parking lots.
One of them was a truck stop parking lot.
Dirt parking lot.
But it's free.
But altogether, actually paying for spots, we only spent $180.69.
It's not bad.
I was pretty impressed. Now, small caveat to that is we stayed at 3 Harvest Hosts, and I'm not going to talk about how much we actually spent at the Harvest Hosts.
We're not going to talk about that.
One thing I never include is food. Usually we're super cheap on the food. We actually broke some cardinal rules on this trip. I don't know if we were stress eating or what, but we got fast food a couple times. And we ate out a little bit more than normal. Normally on a road trip, we don't go out to eat very often, but this time we did. So that was a bigger part of our budget. I don't always add those up because if you're feeding a family of 5, you're probably spending a different amount than a family of 2.
Alright, so that wraps up the road trip. So what's next? For us.
Not a road trip?
Not a road trip.
I'm here on assignment for 13 weeks, so we'll be here through October-ish. We were not prepared for the Indiana heat and humidity.
This is our home state, so maybe we're a little biased, but we do think Indiana's a little underrated.
It is.
There's lots to do. We have a playlist that we can show you right here of the last time that we were home. So I'm looking forward to just kind of spending time at home.
We hadn't seen our nieces and nephews in over a year. Since last July, I think, was the last time we saw them. They're a whole year older. We have a whole nother one. We have a new nephew. So.
Update to that. There is a name. Logan Michael is our new nephew.
Yes.
If you guys watched last week, you saw that we just had a new nephew. So Logan Michael, and he's doing really well now.
Yeah, he's so cute. So definitely spending time with friends and family. We've got a couple trips planned out while we're here, but we love your recommendations. Thank you. We've had several people recommend different places, and we're hoping to check those out while we're in the Midwest. But keep sending them. We love to explore places and to take you places that right now you may not be able to get to, or you want to see us do it first and make our mistakes, because you know that's going to happen. Let us know what you guys want to see, and if you have anything around here especially that you want us to see and do.
Yes, send us those ideas, places like that. Also, we're going to be doing a Q&A video coming up. We talked about it a few weeks ago, but send us your questions. We will answer them in an upcoming video. You guys can comment those down below, or you can send us a message over on Facebook or Instagram at Life Rerouted. We're gonna compile a list and do a Q&A video coming up while we're home.
Exactly. If you have any social media, at Life Rerouted, just put it on your story, send us a message, make a post, hashtag Life Rerouted, hashtag Mike Without a Beard, whatever you want to do. Let us know.
Hashtag Mike Without a Beard.
It's the ongoing discussion. Does Mike look better with a beard or without a beard? He just
I
shaved
look
it again.
great either way.
But I'm excited to address a lot of the questions you guys have been sending us. We appreciate that so much. We have 3 years of experience to share with you. We're not experts, we'll never be experts, but we love sharing what we have learned over the past several years of RVing, of travel life, of married in a very small space, of retired at 34 years old. Like, ask us whatever.
Thanks for sticking around this week, guys. If you are new here, make sure you're subscribed down below so you're following along with our little adventure.
And we'll see you guys next week, which I'm very excited about. Sorry, I was squinting and blinking and squinting and blinking and squinting and blinking. One category that